2025 Paramedic Services Committee. I'm going to go through the agenda items. There's a few changes we have today, a few things we don't normally do that we're going to do today. So first order of business is attendance, and noting that we do have quorum today. So that allows to proceed. I don't believe we're going to have the other two come.
No,
they're not. Okay, we have regrets from the other two. Okay, so moving on from that, we have an agenda for today. We're going to change it slightly at the request of the city because the city will have different appointments from year to year, and that is the case this year. So there was a request from the city to delay item 3, which is the election of the chair and vice chair, till the next cycle. So we're going to accommodate that request. So we'll strike that from the agenda for today. Other than that, that is the only change I have, and I'm going to ask committee members if they have anything that they would like to add to the agenda. I see Councillor Pierce has his hand raised, so we'll go to Councillor Pierce.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through you, I just want to understand as far as, and I don't have any problem delaying number 3. I just want to make sure that there's nothing within our procedures or anything like that that stipulates that it has to be done now. Like, there's no issues with moving it forward. Again, I don't have a problem with it. I just want to make sure that we're not contradicting our process.
Yeah, and that is a good question, and I know it's a good question because I asked the exact same question a couple hours ago, and I asked the clerks to look into that, and they said, no, we are good. We are good to do that as a committee. As a committee, so yep. That's not my decision. That is a committee decision. So, yep. No other business. See none.
Just had the presentation.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a sec. So, if nobody has any other business, I should point in the in the agenda that was sent out, we were missing one item, and that's we have an award under item 5, and that's a presentation. So we are going to add that as well. So, Mayor Davis?
So we're also going to be dealing with the schedule for 2026?
Yes, yeah, but that's already on the agenda too.
Okay,
so,
thanks.
Yeah. Okay, can I get a mover then for that agenda? Thank you, Mayor Bailey, second by Mayor Davis. All in favor? Opposed? I see none. Declaration of pecuniary interest, I'll ask that you do it at the appropriate time. Before we get to the next item, because I'm going to have somebody speak to it that I'd like to introduce, or actually going to have Cindy introduce. We have, if anybody's noticed, we don't have the same chief that we had at the last meeting. So I'm going to go to Manager Cindy Stevenson to introduce our new chief.
Thank you, and through the chair, I'm very pleased to introduce our new paramedic chief director of the Brantford Paramedic Service, Lindsay Langeway. Lindsay started with us on November the 3rd, and she joins us from Medavie Elgin EMS in St. Thomas, where she served as general manager, paramedic chief. She has nearly 20 years of experience in the paramedic field. Her career included key roles such as operations manager and mobile integrated health community paramedicine lead in Chatham-Kent with Medavie, education coordinator with the Southwest Region-based hospital program, and several leadership positions at Orange Transport Medicine, including acting director, operations control manager, and communications officer. And Lindsay is also currently a member of the Ministry of Health's service review team. So on behalf of our department and the county, a warm welcome to Lindsay.
Okay, thank you, Cindy. And also, as the chair of this meeting today, I'd also like to warmly welcome Lindsay to the county, to the city. We want to work with you and make sure you have the most successful run you could have. So anything we can do to make it better, let us know. Any words before we dive into it? No. You're good? Okay. I do have to ask one question because your last name is Langeway, and I sat here 8-9 years ago as chair of this committee. It was a different name at the time. It was under Community Services. And to my right, where you're sitting, was a fellow by the name of Charles Longeway, and he was our chief of paramedic services for the longest time. So the first question I had when I seen your name is there any relation between you and Charles? Who, by the way, was a great chief.
There is not.
Okay, which, that is, it's strange, but okay, we're gonna go with that. Okay, thank you, Lindsay. Okay, we're gonna go on to our next item, and that's, we have a presentation today, and it's the Governor General's Emergency Medical Service for Exemplary Service Medal, and this is the 20-year bar. And I'll ask the chief if she could just give a little background about the Governor General's Emergency Medical Services Award.
Yes, thanks. So through the chair, so it's,
Oh, you gotta be green.
can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, through the chair. So it's a medal that's given out within Canada that recognizes paramedics for long-standing and outstanding service. So for us, it'll be for EMS, so it'll be paramedics that have been in the line of duty for greater than 20 years and up.
Thank you, Chief. So on that note, who are we going to, Mr. Mayor, did you want to present?
Kevin and I both have certificates.
Okay. So I'm gonna call up, Mark Schouten. Did I pronounce that right? Okay. And we're gonna have, yeah, both mayors present.
Do you guys just want to hold all three like that, and we'll just get a nice single photo of that? Perfect. And 3, 2, 1. And if you'd be able to just turn yourself. Thank you so much. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. Sorry,
Get together. You know, Mr. Mayor, I'll keep the mayors up there, and I'm gonna call up Marie Soffo as well. Did I pronounce that, Marie, correctly? Soffo? Okay. For her 20-year bar.
Fantastic. And 3, 2, 1. Sorry. 3, 2, 1. Fantastic. Thank you so much. Congratulations. Do you want me to just send it to you? Oh, okay, cool. I was like, if you were meeting after, just. Oh, I'll send it. Oh, yeah, I'll send it to Colin. Don't worry about it. If I'm not writing things, I will send it. Or he'll remind me. Yeah, thanks.
Okay, and to Marie and Mark, just congratulations. 20 years, don't take it for granted. We don't take it for granted, and we thank you for your years of service. We do this every year for the fire, and yeah, very, very grateful for all the employees we have, but you guys, you carry a different load than the rest of us, that's for sure. And you've probably seen some pretty horrific things over the years. So again, sincerely appreciate the years of service you have given us too. And I think you'll enjoy the pictures with the two mayors too, so. And you're welcome to stay for the rest of the meeting, or if not, it's up to you, so. Okay. We don't want you getting in trouble with the boss, so. Okay, we're gonna go to item 6, and that's the adoption of the minutes from the previous meeting, and that one is from, the minutes from October 20th. And that's, can I get a mover to get that on the floor to approve? Moved by, Mayor Davis, second by Mayor Bailey. Any questions on those minutes? Okay, seeing none, all in favor for approval? Okay, any business arising from those minutes? Yeah, I was just about to call on Mayor Davis. Go ahead, Mayor Davis.
I want to thank staff and yourself that you attended a special city council meeting yesterday evening where we did approve the budget submitted by this committee. And so that was a council meeting, so that has been approved by the city.
Thank you, Mayor Davis, and we are appreciative of that, so we can get back to the business of the day. Okay, so we will move on to staff reports, and noting that there are five for today. We will go through them one at a time. The first one is 8.1, and that's the statistical package. And so let's get a mover to get that on the floor for information. Moved by Councillor Pierce, and we get a seconder by Mayor Bailey. And so we go to Chief Langeway. Is there anything you want to highlight in that package before we turn it over for questions?
Yeah, through the chair, not at this time.
Okay, thank you. Let's see here. Okay. Any questions on the statistical package at this time for our new chief? Go ahead, Councillor Pierce, and then we'll go to Mayor Davis after that.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through you to the new chief, and again, congratulations, Lindsay. I met you at the emergency management, but welcome aboard. Not sure if it was passed along, but I like to ask a lot of questions on these, so my apologies for that. Just giving you the heads up. Couple questions I have, and I'm all about the stats. I'm all about the numbers and that type of thing. But I'm just curious if we can change what we're reporting to, let's say, the last 5 years rather than the last 10 years. Don't get me wrong. The information from 10 years ago is great, but it's just that it's 10 years ago. And as everybody in this, can attest to, there's been a lot of changes in the last 10 years. So again, I'm just wondering if we can somehow just reduce the amount of stats, the amount of years, maybe go back to 2020, take 5 years. Curious on that. If not, if there's a reason why not, that's fine. But I think it'd be just a little easier to read. And further down in the report, I guess it's page, what are we? Page 4 of 10 of your report, when it talks about call time, offload delays, and stuff like that. I've got a couple of questions that are going to tie in here. First of all, if we look at year to date for 2025, we're the lowest we've been since 2021 for both time on task and offload times, that's a great news story. My question is, on the next page, when it talks about the Ministry of Health has confirmed funding for 2025, 2026 to further support the dedicated offload nurse program. Funding is until March 2026. So I guess it's two-part. Do we feel that the continuation of this is going to see our wait times at the hospital down even more? Because I know part of the issue we had in the last couple of years since this has been onboarded is the fact that if the emergency room staff, I'll call them they're not regular in any way, but I'll call them regular staff. If they're short or if they have sickness or something like that, what they would do is they would bring the dedicated offload nurse in to backfill those positions, and it kind of took away from this whole act of trying to get throughput better. Is there any way to know, are we going to be able to now, with the changes they've made with the emergency room personnel, do we feel that is going to be enough to allow us to have these two dedicated offload nurses pretty much full-time? I totally understand that things happen, but pretty much full-time to get those stats down even more. Let's start with that, please.
Okay, there's a couple questions in there. One was about the data, right? That was
Yep.
your first question.
Yep.
Do we
5
need
years
so much
instead of
data?
10 years. 5 years instead of 10.
Yeah, okay. We'll go to the chief then for both those questions and then discuss further.
Okay, thank you. Through the chair, your first question about the 5 years to 10 years, I'm brand new here, so I think it's a great idea to take a look at this report and make sure it makes sense as to, you know, kind of what we want to be achieving in the report. And so happy to work with the committee to figure out what should and shouldn't be in there, and how we can make it maybe a little bit less wordy and maybe less pages, and kind of still accomplish what we want it to accomplish from that perspective. The second question, talking about the dedicated offload. So week 3 in here, my previous world didn't have this particular funding. So I can't speak specifically right now, but I do know that the intention is for there to be 2 staff nurses within that particular area in the back hall. And as the funding hopefully will continue, we hope to just see continued efficiencies, obviously depending on what happens that's within and without, not within our control from that perspective.
Yeah, and through you, Mr. Chair, and I appreciate that, Chief, in the sense that, you know, you're just getting your feet wet and all that, and I totally get that, and that's part and parcel why I'm bringing this up with, you know, like you say, with a new set of eyes. So I'm going to leave it to you to review that, and again, don't get me wrong, data is exactly what it is. It's the facts, and that's what we all want is the facts. But I'm just curious if we need facts back 10 years rather than 5 years. And then my final question I have here, it's on page, where are we here? Sorry, page 6 of your report. Again, with the sudden cardiac arrest, we're still a little bit below where we want to be. And I'm just curious if Chief King and you had any discussions at all, or if you've had any discussions in regards to how we're going to get better on that per se to get ourselves to the benchmark. And the caveat with that is, do we feel now with the prioritization of the MPDS that is, you know, it's not even a month old yet, but do we feel that the way that works to improve response times, not the number of calls, but the response times for those that need it the most, not hypothetically, but AKA the sudden cardiac arrest, do we feel that with that being implemented, the MPDS, that is going to be enough to push us to our benchmark of 60%?
So through the chair, we've had some brief discussions as a group about the sudden cardiac arrest benchmark, and obviously various ways to help improve that, which I believe have been spoken about here before. Different PAD programs, community awareness and such. MPDS, the fact that they're asking more questions from that perspective and able to dig into what is maybe closer to true acuity, I think that will help. I don't think that'll be the full catalyst to decreasing, but I think it'll absolutely help to have ambulances available to respond. I think it'll be a combination of other initiatives to help kind of bring that to where it needs to be.
Okay, I appreciate that. Thank you very much. And again, welcome aboard.
Okay, just a couple clarifiers on what Councillor Pierce asked. The data itself, I like the idea. You're a new chief. Have a look at it, see if it makes sense. But I do know the way the data sets were collected, there was a major change in some of it in the last year and a half. So yeah, maybe it does make sense to revisit that. And I wanted to ask, the sudden cardiac arrest, Councillor Pierce asked, will we see some improvement as far as the medical priority dispatch system, which went live, I was told, on November 5th. We're 2 weeks into it. Is it too early to know how well that system's working?
Yeah, so through the chair, I would say at this point it is. When anything new gets implemented, there's bugs to kind of work through. So I think we're seeing some things, but it's still a little bit too early.
Okay, yeah, okay. We'll look for maybe a more fulsome answer to that in February. Okay, we'll go to Mayor Davis next.
First of all, Chief, congratulations on your appointment, and on behalf of the City of Brantford, we welcome you and also committing to work with you as best we can to ensure that we have the best possible paramedic service in our region. Question for you about that sudden cardiac arrest, the benchmark 60%. What do you think is the best we can do, given that a large portion of the service area is rural and you just, not physically, I suspect, possible to get to all points within 6 minutes from our various stations? Do you have any idea what is the best we could possibly do? Is it 60 or something better than that?
Yeah, so through the chair, I mean, I think 60% is a great benchmark. That 6-minute to defib application, I think, will always have to be a combination of multiple different factors. So meaning, is there a pad close? How close is the specific ambulance? That's when it happens. I mean, in a perfect world, you'd like to have something right there. So I think, is it achievable? Yes. Is it achievable with other initiatives? I think for sure.
I did also want to say that, great to see the CTAS 1, the threat of life, great to see that hitting 79% threshold, that it's beyond the benchmark and it's the best that we've seen here in about 5 years. That's excellent work. Question for you about the new dispatch system. I appreciate that depending on the nature of the call, there's the priorities determine when to respond to calls based on the particulars of the call. What about the response? Like, for example, I know that before you could not dispatch community paramedics directly. Is that going to be part of the system, that for some of those calls, instead of sending fully staffed and equipped ambulance, that it might be something that community paramedics would respond to?
So through the chair, I think it's a great idea and concept. However, that would be something that would have to go through the dispatch center and the Ministry of Health. And so that would be when they would be ready to have that come. So at this point, I don't know if and when that'll happen.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions from committee? Okay, seeing none, I'll go to my questions. And I always go last because usually half my questions are asked by the committee. So, but I wanted to ask to you, Chief, if on page 9 of your report, which is the second last page, and page 17 of our package, there's the average time per call in ED, emergency department. And there's total times, total hours lost. But I'm just wondering, if I look at the month-to-month variation, right? If I look at the year 2025, I'll look at June, and it is 1 hour and 24 minutes. And then if we jump up to August, September, or we go back to January, we'll see it's in the 49, 50 minutes. So it seems to me that there's a huge variation month over month. Do we know what causes that huge variation month over month?
So through the chair, I need to take a deeper look into that. I don't have any specifics on those specific months and why they're different. So if that's something I could take back and have a look at to give you a better answer on that.
Fair enough. Because if I look at the total hours lost, so for July 2025, we had 450 hours lost. And the previous chief, we were told, now it's probably gone up a little bit, but the cost per ambulance is about $150 per hour. So if we've lost 450 hours, just doing the math, we're out. It's cost the paramedic service an extra $67,500. So you can understand, we've always had angst over, the amount of waiting time at the emergency department. And it's a bone we've been chewing on for a long, long time. We've been working it, but it's always a problem. So yeah, if you could look into that, I'd appreciate it. Okay, I don't see any other hands raised, so we have a motion on the floor to receive for information. And seconder, all in favor? Okay, that's carried. We're going to go to item 8.2, and that's the paramedic services budget to actual variance. And can I get a mover to receive that as information? Moved by Mayor Bailey, second by Mayor Davis. Any questions on that? I'll just say so far so good, but we'll go to, yeah, Mayor Davis, go ahead.
Yeah, through you to Heather, is it possible that we can have more detailed information regarding the actuals, and in particular, more of a line-by-line analysis, similar to what we see when we approve the budget? Because what we have here is it's all kind of grouped together, and it's hard to know from what you've given us what might be driving a surplus or a deficit.
Through the chair, yes, we can expand the budget to actual to that level.
Okay. And I noticed that the report says that legal costs have been notably over budget. Is there anything we as a board should be concerned about, or does that need to be in camera, or what can be said about it?
Through the chair, I don't believe there's a concern regarding this. Just in looking at our actuals under legal costs, they've been underfunded for the past 3 years. So we have made that adjustment moving forward in 2026 to recognize that legal costs are, there's inflationary reasons for that, and to reflect the reality of running the service.
This is good questions, and I had the same ones. We'll go to Councillor Pierce. You got a question?
I did, Mr. Chair, but Mayor Davis just hit it there with the legal costs, so I'm good. Thank you.
Okay, I got the same question there. Mayor Bailey, anything? Okay, so we got on the floor, and I just, so far so good, and I think we're almost at 75% at the end of September, which is 75% through the year, but there are things we got to be kind of wary of, so we still need to be vigilant, and based on what happened previously, we certainly don't take it for granted, so thank you, Heather. No more questions, all in favor of receiving that report? That's carried. Okay. 8.3, and that is our regular update that Cindy provided, and I thank you for that, Cindy. Can I get a mover to get that on the floor for information? Moved by Mayor Bailey, seconded by Councillor Pierce. Any questions on construction status update number 6? Councillor Pierce.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I guess what are we, page 4 of the report when it talks about phase 2 construction scope. I just want to confirm that the forecasted end date as of this point is July 31st, 26. I just want to understand, are we still on track? I was actually by there about a week or so ago, and the steel structure is going up, and that kind of leads me to part B of my question. A, are we still on track for the July 31st? And B, are we still on track that potentially it'll be closed in enough before the snow flies to allow them to work over winter?
Okay, and we'll go to Cindy for that.
Through the chair, we are still on track for the building construction to be completed by the end of July, and looking to use the facility next August. And the construction manager is looking at the schedule and maybe, rearranging a few things in order to make that happen, but the construction will continue throughout the winter. So there shouldn't be any impact there.
Perfect, good news. And one final one, if I could, Mr. Chair, through you. On the next page there, when it talks about current service limitations, it talks about the lease arrangements for both locations on Henry Street require lease extensions to the end of phase 2. I thought we had talked about that, and that's already in play, is it not?
Yeah, we did talk about, it was in a previous report, but
That's what I thought, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if Cindy, you want to add anything to that?
Through the chair, that is in place. And we have lease extensions until the end of next year. If construction continues to remain on track, We may be able to trigger an early exit clause on those and have some cost savings. So we are watching that. But that has all been taken care of.
Okay, I appreciate that. I thought so, and that makes me think my brain is still okay. Thank you.
Okay, any other questions for Cindy on the update? Okay, yeah, it's a good news update, so I think Colliers is doing a good job of watching over it, so. Okay, all in favor of receiving that report? Okay, and we look forward to finding out when the grand opening is too. This will bring us to item 8.4, and this is, it's a 2026 pre-budget approval for 3 ambulances. Can I get a mover can I get a mover for this to get on the floor? Okay, moved by Councillor Pierce, second by Mary Davis. Is there any questions? We do have Neil in the room today. Any questions for him at this time? Okay, go ahead, Councillor Pierce.
Thanks, Mr. Chair. And it's just a question of clarification. So within the recommendation, it speaks of replacement of 3 ambulances and then deposits on 2, and then it goes back to the acquisition of 3. I'm just want to confirm here, is this for 3 ambulances or 2 ambulances?
So we're putting deposits on 2, directly negotiate 3. Who wants to clarify that?
Through the chair, so there was a deposit made on one of the 3 going back probably a year ago now, a refundable deposit. So that's already been done. The remaining 2, we need to place deposits on to get them in the queue. At the end of the day, we do need committee and council's approval to purchase all 3.
Follow up, Mr. Chair. So if we've already put a deposit down on one of them, which I think I recall, then I would suggest we've already approved that as a committee, have we not? For the one, anyway.
Through the chair, the deposit on the first one was done out of sequence. So we do need approval for that ambulance as well for the final purchase price. And when you look at the final purchase price, it is between all 3 of them over our purchasing policy of $250,000 to have council's approval on that to make the final purchase.
Okay. Okay, I think I got that. And I guess my only other question would be, we know it takes 12 to 18 months for these to come in. So that being said, the one that we've already put the deposit on a year or so ago, we should potentially see that early 2026 then?
Through the chair, yes, that ambulance will be available for us in early next year. The other 2 could be up to 12 to 18 months.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? So just to be clear, it is 12 to 18 months, because I seen somewhere in there, one was ordered in 2024 and it's coming in 2026. So, but it's still that 12 to 18 month delivery time as far as we know for an ambulance?
Yes, that's what we're being advised through the manufacturer. Our experience has been they have come in a bit sooner than what we've been told, but it could take up to that long.
Wow, okay. Thank you. I don't see any other questions then. You have it on the floor as a recommendation, moved and seconded. No further comments, questions, discussions? All in favor? Okay, thank you. That has been approved. That'll bring us to the last staff report, 8.5. So normally we meet every other month, and normally we meet Wednesdays, 3rd Wednesdays of the month at 11 a.m. And so that's the recommendation, but I think we would like to maybe discuss that in a little more detail. So I'll go to Mayor Kevin Davis for any thoughts, suggestions, amendments.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm asking for an indulgence from the committee to accommodate myself and Councillor Rose Sicoli, who's also been appointed to this committee, or to be confirmed by council next week. The problem we have is we both agreed to sit on the Health Unit Board, which meets the same Wednesday each month at 9:30 a.m. Those meetings often, I understand, continue into the noon hour, but so for that reason, we're asking if you would be prepared to accommodate us by still meeting the same day, but just at 2 p.m. instead of 11 a.m.
Okay, thank you for that. And we did, Mayor Bailey, we checked your schedule. I think you're okay for that?
Yeah, I spoke with Allison and Colin. I'm good.
Okay. For my own schedule, I'm good. So I'm gonna look at Counselor Pierce, same Wednesdays, Counselor Pierce, but 2 p.m. instead of 11 a.m.
It's fine with me as long as I know in advance and I can book the time, so
Yeah.
I'm good.
And I am the exact same way. And I look to our chief as a, you're okay? Okay. All right. So on that note then, but we'll keep it the same day. So the next meeting would be Wednesday, January 21st, but 2 p.m. instead. So do we need an amendment or can we just?
We can do it as a staff direction.
Staff, okay. All right, fair enough. So let's get that on the floor then.
Mr. Chair?
As discussed, yes?
Sorry, I just wanted to just note in there as well, for the Wednesday, July 15th, it's my understanding that the city takes July off, so that might need to be rescheduled.
We,
Actually, if I might.
yeah, okay.
Yeah, so generally in the year of an election, it's August becomes the off month. And we actually have meetings right through July.
Okay, perfect.
That's good, because we actually did in 2025, by the way. We still held the July meeting even though the city was off, so. It's hard when you're dealing with two different municipalities. Okay, so, let's get that, given that we've changed the meeting schedule, so I ask that, the recommendation then for this, and we'll change it then, prior to that, it be received as information and that the schedule be approved, noting that the dates are the same, but the time's been changed to 2 p.m. Can I get a mover for that? Moved by Mayor Bailey, second by Councillor Pierce. Okay, any further discussion? Okay, we can all make it. All in favor? Okay, and that brings us to communications, and we don't have any that I'm aware of. Other business, nobody noted anything at the beginning, but we'll go to Mayor Bailey right now.
No, it's just through the chair. I welcomed our new chief to the county on Saturday night at a function, but I haven't done it publicly. So publicly welcome to the county of Brandon, to the joint services. And I'm sure that you'll have a great time. You've got a great bunch of people to work with, and I'm sure you'll do very well. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Bailey. Okay, on that note, nothing in camera, so item 12's next meeting, January 21st, 2026. Hopefully the weather is accommodating for that, and that will be at 2 p.m. Right here in the chambers. So on that note, I'll call this meeting adjourned. Thank you.